The cold front bringing us relief in the Great Lakes region over the next week is going to come with a cost in terms of severe weather. In this video, we're going to talk about how severe those storms are going to be, the ingredients for that, and how nice it's going to be next week. Hello everybody, the time is 11:46. It's kind of late, that's why my voice is kind of low. 11:46 p.m. and it is July 27th. Welcome to another update from Great Lakes Weather. Hopefully everybody is doing well today. We had some pretty wild storms, I would say, yesterday. Quite a big chase yesterday. A lot of wild things seen. That video is going to be up later on tomorrow, so keep watch on that. But we're going to do a quick update on the severe weather threat that's going to be on the way for the Great Lakes region come tomorrow, and an update on the heat and what we are going to be expecting in terms of weather beyond this cold front that's going to be moving through. So we're going to get right to it, dive right in to what's going on. We're going to start with an overview of exactly what we're dealing with in terms of heat. Now, we've been dealing with heat pretty much the past day. It's been relatively hot, especially if you're farther to the south, but I think a lot of us are going to get in on that heat, especially into tomorrow. Because look at the heat indexes as we get into Friday. So looking here, Friday 1 p.m. you have heat indexes in the low 100s, some places even the mid 100s across the southern Indiana region, but much of Michigan, Indiana, Ohio is dealing with this. Look up in the Upper Peninsula though. Big difference. Cold front moved through there just today, producing severe weather up there, and you got temperatures in the 70s now during the day tomorrow on Friday. Your cold front is going to be making its way farther to the south tomorrow, and the combination of high K values associated with the high temperatures and high humidity and lift in the atmosphere pushed by the cold front, as well as some upper level support, you're going to start to see the development of some stronger thunderstorms during the day tomorrow. Now, the question is, how strong are those storms going to be? Well, the SPC, this is actually the SPC's outlook for today, that's pretty much coming to an end, but tomorrow, here is the slight risk area for severe weather across the Great Lakes region. Again, same place that just got beat down with rain and severe weather on Wednesday, but slight risk for severe thunderstorms across southern Michigan, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, and then that marginal risk continuing into southern Indiana, southern Ohio as well. But you see, tornado potential actually does exist here, kind of in the same region that has in the past. The real thing about this threat though is that it's going to be mainly overnight. It's going to be after dark. Really the only time you'll be able to see the storms is when they arrive on the lake shore during the evening. So I think that's going to change whether or not I chase this scenario. There might be a short chase in there, but it's going to be later and it's not going to be long. But these storms are going to likely produce damaging wind gusts, perhaps some stronger damaging wind gusts. Currently, there's a 15% risk out from the SPC. Latest models do hint at the fact, though, it's likely that they're going to maybe increase their risk. I'm not going to speak for the SPC there, but it's likely that they're going to include an increase in probabilities, as is highlighted by their discussion as well. So it's looking like that's going to be the case, and we'll explain why that might be the case. So here we have the HRRR. First of all, take a look at the instability values. Let's go to the current time. So this is midnight. You see there's still even instability in the atmosphere beyond these storms too, but by the time we get to 7 p.m., the storms that are in northern Wisconsin right now are going to begin to die out. Probably not going to make it to southern Michigan, but as we get into even as early as 10 o'clock, you can see that instability is at 4,000 already across parts of northern Indiana. Cape values of 3,000 across southern Michigan. Again, that has a lot to do with the high heat, high humidity, because if you look, if I freeze frame it real quick and you look at the dew points, so over to the dew points here, you can see your dew points are in the mid 70s across parts of Michigan according to the HRRR. So 70s, there's a little bit of mixing occurring in this model run, but again you can see there's very high dew points, enabling for that very oppressive heat feeling as well, which is going to send heat indexes again up to 100s across much of the Great Lakes region. And then the dews are going to be in place, high temperatures as well, which could get into the 90s pretty much anywhere across the Lower Peninsula, Indiana, Ohio, all those different places. Not really much wind. The wind's going to be pretty low in the atmosphere prior to the passing of this cold front. We're getting into the afternoon hours. As we get into the afternoon hours, though, you're going to see, wow, those surface winds tend to pop up. There looks like there could be some winds with these storms moving across the lake as we get into 6 p.m. This is 6 p.m. Up near Ludington, you have that those storms already getting onto the lake shore, producing stronger winds, possibly damaging winds as well. And that will continue off to the southeast as we get later on into the evening. You can see that line of storms progressing southeast. By 8 p.m. they're already into Allegan, Van Buren counties. So big storms coming across the lake and also across northern Michigan to make their way to the south. Let's take a look at the model that depicts that. But here you can see 7 a.m. not really too much going on, but you can already see some cells firing across northern Wisconsin early in the day, and then they start to build and progress to the southeast by around 5 p.m. and then they cross the lake around 5 p.m. and begin to sag farther to the south. Now there's a very impressive updraft velocity with some of these storms showing marginal tornado potential, but again, looking at the hodograph, not really looking great despite the fact you do have good directional and speed shear in the atmosphere. But again, you're not really seeing decent cape in this part of the atmosphere either. But as we get farther to the south, that cape still does kind of settle in place. You still have cape values of 3,700 by the time we get to 8 p.m. And you've got those storms, in Allegan County. And it looks like these cells could get pretty tall, and there's still going to be some updraft velocity areas north of Grand Rapids as well. So it looks mainly to be a damaging wind threat, low hail probabilities, low tornado probabilities. I don't really see the support for that kind of a setup for tornadoes with this event, but again, there is a low risk for tornadoes embedded with this setup, so that's just something to keep in mind as these come through. I do think really the threat though more is going to be significant damaging winds, which will likely be upgraded in the latest Outlook upcoming as well. I think I showed you the picture of the upper level support that's going to be associated with this. Upper levels, you have 50 to 60 knots in the upper levels, or even in some places up to 70 knots. And as we get to around 8 p.m., you still have that push of upper level winds, and as you get into the mid layer, you get that mid layer support as well, along with these storms that are developing and moving through. So there is the support in the atmosphere, thermodynamics for this particular setup. And then obviously you still have your decent cape values ahead of the main line of storms, cape values of even 4,000 at 8 p.m. in Kalamazoo County, and instability continuing throughout much of this boundary here. And that cold front's going to continue to sag to the south. Storm relative velocity, again, it is present, but and it's decent ahead of the line of storms, but I think really the main threat here is going to be straight line damaging winds with this setup. So lots of shear embedded in these storms as they move through, connected with that cold front that's going to be moving through as well. Supercell composite values, again, potential for a few embedded supercells within this line that could possibly produce a weak tornado. I don't really see a strong tornado threat with these at all. Significant tornado parameters do show low chance of significant tornadoes with this setup. So again, it's just something to keep watch for. Big could be damaging winds and significant damaging winds widespread across the region of, again, similar to where I chased on Wednesday, lower Michigan, north Indiana, northern Ohio. Again, hopefully it's not significant, and a lot of the towns that saw damage can recover pretty quick from the past storms that we've had. I am seeing here on the hodograph maps here some hodographs that could foster some potential for spin-up tornadoes in southern Michigan. I see that little curvature in that hodograph there. You can see the slight curvature prior to the storm's arrival, and there's still some storm relative velocity in the atmosphere. So again, it still comes into question whether we'll see a tornado or not, but it's going to be around 8 p.m. at this time, and it will be dark around 10 p.m. So I might be able to chase this later on in the evening, but it'll be late in the evening if I do chase this. So make sure to subscribe, stay updated. I'll be doing a live stream if these storms do get here early enough and they foster a strong enough severe weather setup for this, which they probably will. Probably some damaging winds with this, so just keep that in mind as we go through the day tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'm going to go to bed because storm chasing begins tomorrow again. I will see you all later.